Hello, Marco. The problem with online classes. Good topic. COVID-19 caught the world by surprise, forcing governments to close non-essential business as well as schools. In order to continue educating the youth, many schools have chosen to transition to fully online classes. The theory is that through the use of websites such as Google Classroom and Zoom, students can receive the same quality of education as if they were still taking in-person classes. No, they can't! Sorry, I've never done that before. The theory is that through the use of websites such as Google Classroom, However, the first week since the online transitions, students were already voicing their discontent with the new system through social media. I bet they were. A lot of professors also showed their dissatisfaction with the system after catching students cheating. Well, anyway. And it was very common for the online meetings to get hacked into. So are online classes worth it? Well, I've already decided no, and I think you agree. So here we go. And I just gotta say, I'm always confused by teachers who are really freaked out and insulted about students cheating because that to me, if your students are cheating, it shows that you haven't done a thorough enough job to find a way to stop them from cheating. And frequently that has to do with, you can prevent that, but you don't know how, maybe. Not that I've never caught students cheating in my class. I have. Okay, the use of online classes has recently skyrocketed mainly because of the coronavirus, but they have always been a popular choice among students' style of learning. Nice transition. In fact, there have been some type of online classes since the early 1900s. You mean 1990s? Online courses being around for this long means they are beneficial for students, or else the students would not sign up for them, and they would no longer be available. Well, maybe it just means that they think they're easier. That's what I thought. Or they're a good moneymaker for the colleges. There are some advantages to taking an online class over an in-person class. For example, the students can learn what is convenient for them. An article by Northeastern University explains that one of the biggest advantages of online learning is the added flexibility and self-paced learning that it provides. If the student also works, then they can fit their schoolwork around their work schedule. Since the online class is not set on a definite schedule, they can watch the lessons. Yes, we call that asynchronous, which is how I chose to set up our class, right? So you do it when you want, which allows them to work without having to leave early or take certain days off. This is a very big advantage because not all students have the ability to go to college without working for it. Woo! Yeah, I thought the truth. But I don't think you mean without working for it. I just think you mean some students have a lot of responsibilities outside of just the classroom for various reasons. Some people really need the money, so having a flexible schedule helps a student complete everything on time while still getting paid. This also ensures better quality work because the student is doing everything at his or her own pace, not rushed to the last minute. Online classes can be advantageous for certain students, but there are reasons why most students can choose to continue to take traditional classes instead of online ones. In order to take an online class, you must first have a computer, some device where you can access the web. Already you can see that taking online classes can be a big investment for those who don't already own those devices. Yes. Additionally, an article by the Dallas News states online classes can be 20% higher. Oh, you mean like the cost of the class? You haven't said that yet. I think you mean online classes can cost 20% more than regular classes, meaning that students will actually pay more to learn the same material. That's wild. I don't know anything about that. Another disadvantage is that since students will constantly be uploading and downloading documents, they need to have a reliable connection when completing assignments. Nobody wants to lose the connection to the Wi-Fi in the middle of a test. Yeah, that is such a mess. Another aspect to consider is that students who take... another aspect to consider, that's a new paragraph, my friend, is that students who take online classes do not get the same social experience as those who take in-person classes. Being behind a screen does not give you the opportunity to truly connect with your classmates and create new friendships. Yes. They don't even have to be friendships. They just have to be, connections with people who can discuss things with you. Although you can still ask your classmates for help through email, it's not the same as actually sitting down and going over the problem together. No. One of the biggest reasons why students choose not to take an online course is because of the lack of commitment that comes with them. Another new paragraph. Hey. I would just go back to the bit about friendships and say, yeah, a person you can discuss things with, and particularly when you want to have discussions about really sensitive issues in classes, which in many classes you want to and you should. It's very hard to have a discussion about racism or a discussion about, that's the main one that always comes to my mind. Because in order for people to be able to be honest about that and not just be overwhelmed with nervousness, They have to have a feeling of safety with this community in their class. Not being required to go to class makes students lose interest in the course and forget about important deadlines. Yeah, I'm having that problem myself. Not being in class, especially if there are not any live lectures, can make it easy for a student to forget about upcoming assignments because the professor is not constantly reminding them. Online classes can turn out to be more expensive than traditional courses, and it's very easy for the student to get sidetracked. You're repeating yourself there, so I don't think you need to say that again. These are just a few of the things to point out when looking at... Okay, but you could wrap it up with that sentence. These are just a few things to point out when looking at the problems that come with online classes. Although I'm not sure that you need to. You could probably just stop at because the professor is not constantly reminding them. There's a few small advantages that you get when you take online classes. For one, students will become more up to date with technology by using many programs for the class and navigating through the web. Students will become more efficient at using a computer and at conducting research. This can help students with their careers because as the world becomes more modern, more companies are starting to go online. Companies want to have employees who are up to date with technology, so taking online classes can help make it easier to get hired. Not only can it help you with your tech skills, but it also allow you to communicate with your professor more frequently. Many professors who teach in-person classes are very bad at replying to emails, including myself. This is because they either do not know how to work a computer or they would rather simply wait to answer your question in class. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. That was my bad. Okay, this is not the case for online professors. Since they're teaching an online course, they obviously have the ability to work a computer, at least reply to an email. Furthermore, since the class is online, the professor will be apt to reply quickly. There's no point in putting off an email because they are not going to see you anytime soon. With this being said, it is common for online professors to reply to an email as soon as they get the chance. They are just small things that are good to have, but they are things that most people can live without. Wait, what small things? And they really do not affect the learning of the material in a major way. I think you mean the fact that, sorry, back up. I think you mean the fact that they get their emails replied to sooner. Okay, one of the major concerns for professional institutions that come with online courses is academic misconduct and people hacking into the class. I'm interested in this because I don't really have this problem. It is very easy for students to cheat on an assignment or an exam. An article by The Best Schools argues that online college has made cheating harder to detect. Cheating can be done by using online websites to look up the answer, getting help from the person who's next to you, or having somebody else take the test for you. Since the student is behind their computer, not in a classroom, it would be very difficult for the professor to know if the student has cheated. Yep. Now, there are programs designed to give the professor access to the student's microphone, cameras, and screen during a test, but not every online class does this, and even then it is still possible for the student to cheat. I have no doubt. The other major concern with online classes is plagiarism. Well, I do have this problem, theoretically. I mean, I have had that problem. This allows them to look up similar articles and research papers. These it is very easy for students to copy and paste somebody else's work and claim it as their own. One of the reasons why many students have been found cheating is because they have a hard time adapting. Okay, new paragraph. One of the reasons why students have been found cheating. Students have a lot of freedom with online courses because the professor is not there to make sure they're staying focused. I know, I hate that. This tempts the students to use their online resources and then cheat if they have to. If a student is nearing the deadline for an assignment and they have not yet started, then they might get desperate and cheat. Absolutely, that's... in my experience, that's the main reason that people cheat is because they feel like they can't do what's being asked of them. Another common problem with online classes is that people have the ability to hack into live meetings. It's just like every time you say another, it seems like, hey, this is a new paragraph. This will not happen for every meeting, but it's still a common thing to have happen. I'm so intrigued. When all schools transitioned to online class during the COVID-19 outbreak, it was very common for Zoom meetings to get hacked into. The program also became infamous for constantly crashing. Sorry, time check. Constantly crashing because it could not handle the amount of users it had at the time. Technical problems, cheating, and plagiarism are things that are all bound to happen at some point. Yep. Online classes are not perfect, but we can try to get our best to make them more ideal for both the students and the professors. In order to improve online classes, there are a few things that we can do. For example, we can use more apps programs in order to get a better experience. One of the problems with online classes is that they did not allow enough for socializing between the students. Yeah, like I have, like when I've been on some of the Zoom calls I've been on in the last little bit, we use the like little chat thing on the side, which they probably have not allowed you to do in classroom settings for that, to like pass notes the way you would in class, but also to clarify. And if somebody's talking, you don't want to interrupt, you can write what you're thinking there and then they can read it later. Okay, another way we can improve online classes is by providing computers for students in need. I agree 100%. Although this solution is a bit more expensive, it's still a solution. And I mean, honestly, when schools get a deal with Apple or with some other company to funnel computers to students, the computer company gives them a great deal on that stuff because they really, really want students to get used to using a Mac or get used to using a PC or whatever it is. So, I mean, it's expensive, but it's not as expensive as like individual students all buying their own on their own at the regular retail price. Okay, this would allow them to take online classes without having to worry about buying a computer. As a result, the student would not need to work to buy one, which means they will spend more time doing their assignments instead of going to work. Yes. Many students who showed they were not content with the full transition to online classes felt this way because they did not sign up for them. Yeah, that's fair. For students to excel in a course, they must want to take it. A slow transition from traditional courses to online courses will significantly help the students succeed. Yeah, I mean, we would have liked it to be slow, wouldn't we? The transition should start with a few classes online, a few classes in person, and gradually transition to fully on classes if that was what the student wants to do. Sorry. If the student does not want to take any online classes, then they should not be required to because they did not pay for that. Lastly, one of the main problems with online classes is cheating and plagiarism. In order to combat this, again, when you have lastly, and these transition words, which you do nicely, make a new paragraph. You'll love it. In order to combat this, institutions should invest in programs that are designed to stop. As mentioned earlier, early programs designed for this, copy leaks, Unicheck, and keystroke verification software should all be used to prevent academic misconduct. Many universities around the nation already use these or some other type of software to prevent cheating. Yeah, or like turnitin.com. I mean, I know those things work for myself, just as an aside. Like, I haven't often felt like I need to do that because I have a lot of samples of students' work, things they wrote in class, and then subsequent drafts. So if they suddenly turn in a paper that I'm like, this doesn't sound like you, or this isn't what we talked about, then in these rare occasions, it basically means they plagiarized. All I gotta do is type it into Google and then like, hello. Okay, overall online classes are the pros and cons. The main one that comes with online classes. During the pandemic, it was a forced transition. Many students did not sign up. They were not ready. Desperate to take measures. The price, it can be expensive to buy a computer. Yes. Anti-cheating software, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm trying to finish in 14 minutes. In 15 minutes so we can post it. Help open our line. I love this paper. You've got a lot of great stuff in here. I would like some additional paragraphs, as I mentioned. And is there anything else, just as someone in education, I would throw out? One thing I always tell people is frequently in education there are very wealthy people who are saying, hey, this is the future, hey, this is what everyone's going to do. But when you look at how they choose to have their own children educated, they are pretty much never like fully students online. This is a solution that is frequently advanced for students who are already struggling. And in my experience, if you are struggling in a classroom with the teacher right next to you, and most of my experience is K-12, but you're struggling to get stuff done with the teacher right next to you, and all these people around you doing the same thing, the odds that you are suddenly going to like snap to it and be like, now I can get everything done without any adult or teacher being present with you, I mean, I just feel like that approach is absolute zero. And all the times I've seen like online stuff try to replace, you failed this class, so now do the class online. I mean, it's just been totally ridiculous. Like, either so easy it doesn't matter, or so impossible to get through that the person who didn't make it in the class the first time is definitely not going to make it again, as I said, when their only motivation is stare at the screen. So really important stuff here. Nicely done, Marco. Just those few suggestions I had, which were mostly about new paragraphs and a few places of clarifying. A little bit of revision, and I'll look forward to reading your revision.